Hello everyone and welcome. It has been a minute, but I hope you are all doing well. In this video, I'll be sharing my process for a black and white gouache cloud painting. This is not meant to be a tutorial, but I will be sharing some insight into what my inspirations, thoughts, and goals are for this piece. Also, my art supplies will be listed in the description as well as a link to my reference photo. I began this painting after not painting at all for 3 weeks. I needed some time away from art, so this is what ended the drought. The thing that inspired me to create this piece was a book I bought recently called Color and Light by James Gurney. While reading that book, I realized that I should strengthen my understanding of light. I love painting in color, but I was due for a little change, so I picked out a reference photo, grabbed my black and white gouache paints, and started painting. To make this exercise easier, I did turn my reference photo into grayscale on my computer. By taking color out of the picture, I can focus on how light travels through and bounces off of the clouds without color being a distraction. In other words, I wanted to focus on light behaviors rather than translating a colored image into a black and white one, although I do plan on trying that as well. As you can probably tell, I am using an oval-shaped brush to sketch out the basic shapes of the painting, such as the sky and a base for the clouds, until I moved on to a much smaller brush for the detail work. My previous gouache painting subject was a waterfall with lots of bright greenery around it. I remember struggling with the medium and getting it to behave the way I wanted. I am the most comfortable with watercolor, a transparent medium, so I'm used to layering my paint from light to dark. Gouache and other opaque mediums, on the other hand, do best working from dark to light. So I had to shift my approach in the middle of that piece, so it took me a lot longer, but it definitely looked better. In this painting, I was able to take what I learned from the waterfall piece and apply it to this one. For example, I realized it was much easier to paint highlights on top of darker paint rather than painting around the lighter areas. I was also reminded of the drying shift that gouache has, so limiting this piece to 2 tubes of paint made that a lot easier to manage. I still have a lot to explore with gouache, but I know that with more experience I will start to develop a process that works well for me. My goal for this piece was to get some more gouache practice and to enjoy the process of painting. I'm happy to say I met my goal and I'm satisfied with how the piece turned out. If I were to do this painting again, I think I would use another brush that was a bit bigger than the small one I'm using now, and also focus more on making my brush strokes more purposeful, if that makes sense. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, consider giving me a thumbs up or subscribing to my channel. If you are interested in purchasing the color and light book I mentioned earlier, you can find it on my Amazon storefront, list link in the description. I'll receive a commission from items purchased following the link. You can also find me on my social media. I am the most active on my Instagram. Thank you so much for watching and make it a great day.